It is great to have you guys with us today. We are joined, of course, by our resident guests now, Will Harris, who's joining us from France. Thanks, Will. Malizia-Seaexplorer. And of course, Cole Brower, who is joining us from the ocean. She's gone past Tenerife yesterday, I think, and is joining us from her boat, First Light. So thanks, guys, for being with us. We have a little bit of a different format this week. So we will be starting with Weather with Will. And then Boris will be joining us just after that. So I will hand straight over to Will and you can take it away with the weather.
Yeah, sure. So it's been a really interesting week so far. We've seen some big storms and we've seen a really cool move made by the leaders there. And Charlie managing to really eke out some miles. I hope you can all see my screen nicely, but just to look at the current situation. So we're going to look at these sort of three groups again. You've got Charlie there, the leader, who managed to do a really nice move of staying ahead of the low pressure and not avoiding it, and really going all guns blazing and really going fast ahead of it. And then a bit further behind, you've got this second group of Sam Goodchild, Yannick Besteven, the previous winner, Paul Meha, and Nico Lundven. And then behind that, another 350 miles back, we got Boris with his Charlie's Angels. And they're all running ahead of this low pressure at the moment. This low pressure is moving fast towards the east. And these front runners, they're more influenced by this high pressure sat off Cape Lewin over here. And that's giving them this nice westerly flow over there. So basically, there's a few features we need to look at the moment to figure out the next few days. So firstly, there's a low pressure here, which is forming, and it's moving very quickly like this. It's got some really nice energy built up from the high pressure over here, and this low pressure moving in from the west is also building it up nicely. So if we look in 24 hours, we can see how that low pressure has developed, and it's got this big sweeping front and a lot of energy with it as well. And Charlie, or the leader, will be at the front around here in 24 hours time, and he's got to sort of pick his moves, not go too far into this strong wind, because if we look at the waves again, we can see this area here is sort of 6 to 9 meters waves, and it doesn't really make so much sense to be pushing down there when he's got quite a nice angle to just be able to sail a relatively straight course and be able to avoid the stronger winds. The boats further behind, that group with Boris and the group with Sam Goodchild they're going to be a little bit behind that. And we can see that Boris, this is 24 hours time still, he's just dropping off that low pressure, that front with the low pressure, and he'll probably end up seeing by Friday, lose a few miles to the group ahead. And so this is Friday now. We can see that sort of opened up because they drop off that system in front, and these two groups are a bit more joined in the same system. But if we look what's coming next, we can see by Friday we've got the next low pressure system coming in, and that's bringing a really nice strong northwesterly flow, and that's going to push him right across nice and fast back towards the other groups. And basically what happens is, if we look by Sunday, this is down by between New Zealand and Australia now, that high pressure to the north, it's basically giving a bit of a horrible light wind area just off New Zealand. So it means that group just ahead of Boris, that red group, they're gonna slow down, and they're probably gonna get caught by this group behind. So really nice opportunity to for the boats behind to catch up some miles. But equally, we can see that leading boat, Charlie, Seb, Johan, and Thomas, they're still ahead in that low pressure systems that's down here, and they're still going to be sailing nicely in that wind. So if we look in a week's time, we can see in the routings, it's going to be about 6 days to getting past New Zealand, and for the other two boats, it's about 2 days and 2.5 days. But they're much closer together, and potentially some nice miles and some nice positions to be gained.
And what does that mean for Seb, just quickly, but with his foil situation? We saw a few days ago that he broke his starboard foil. How does that impact him?
Yeah, it's a really interesting point of the race because they're in these big waves, these big Southern Ocean conditions, so it's much harder to use the foils. But equally, when they do get the opportunities to, it's really important to try and stay in the systems in front. So you can see Charlie there; he's able to just run just north of the strong wind conditions, and he can sort of keep the boat going fast. Whereas Seb, even though he can get out those strong conditions and use the foils, he hasn't got a foil now. So he's definitely going to be impacted on one jibe. I think if I was Seb, one thing that he can be doing is changing his polars and changing his routing to consider the fact that he's going to be slower. I think it's the starboard foil he's broken, so he's going to be slower on port jibe. And then he can sort of tell his polars to be a bit asymmetric, and it might actually find some other routings so that he can continue sailing fast. You know, look at Alex Thompson 8 years ago; he was still managing to finish second place, having broken a foil in the South Atlantic.
Hi, Boris.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Boris.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hi.
Good evening. Hi.
How are you?
Nice to see you. I'm in a very unstable conditions, and I'm swapping between sails all the time, trying to move forward here. It's not so easy at the moment.
No worries. If you have to run, we understand at any point. So no worries.
Yeah. But I can move around with.
Oh, we lost you.
Southern Ocean internet.
Yeah.
Notoriously unstable occasionally.
Ah, you're back. We lost you for a second. Is it working?
Yeah, it's the Southern Ocean internet. He's going to be getting into pretty low resolution soon.
Can you hear us, Boris, now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
We try, sometimes you're a bit patchy, but we try it. We wanted to kick off with you as a hang-up from the last ocean race with the 1 to 10, how is everyone feeling? So maybe you go first, as you created it.
Yeah, I feel 8. I think I am very calm today, although it's not such an easy day to move forward quickly with the difficult sea state. But 8 nevertheless.
Very nice. And Cole, how about you? You're also sailing out there, so...
Yeah, I'm probably like a 9 to like a 9.5, much better than last week, but that's just because I have a really nice sea state. I'm just going to rub it right in your face, Boris. I've been sailing downwind for like 8 days, and now I've got another like 3 days on port, and so I can shower and do things. The Atlantic has been quite kind to me, but I also got to pick when I got to leave, so a little different.
Really nice jumper, Cole.
Oh yeah, you like it?
Just representing.
Representing in the middle of the ocean.
And how about you, Will? 1 to 10?
Oh, I think I'm in between both of you. I think I'm a nice 8.5. It's nearly Christmas. Firstly, it's always the best time of year. Like, I love that. And yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a good few days, and enjoying life in Brittany and following Boris around the world.
Very nice. Yeah, I actually think I'm also similar to Cole, 9.5, because I went kite surfing for the first time yesterday, the day before yesterday, since having a baby, and I would love it. It was amazing. So where Boris and I were, well, I learned to kite, and Boris was here with us a few years ago, so it was super nice.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I just passed you. You were in Tenerife, and you were on the south side.
Haven't you sailed past each other? Yeah.
Exactly.
You could have kited out to Cole.
I know, actually. We probably were moving about the same speed.
I was going fast at one point.
Boris, have you had dinner yet? What did you have for dinner?
I had. You still hear me? Yeah, I had a nice. I had a nice lunch a few hours ago, and I haven't had dinner yet. Although it's pretty late here. I'm really in between UTC local time. I don't.
You cut out then. But I think what you were saying is you're between the two time zones, right? We had this conversation earlier today, and you haven't quite decided if you stick to UTC or if you come onto the time zone, because I think every day almost you gain an hour kind of thing. Well, you get a plus on your number, however you want to say it. Maybe you come back. Yeah, now you're back.
Yeah.
Maybe. How do?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're back.
Hear me again?
Yeah, we hear you again. Yeah, you haven't decided, right, which time zone you're on quite.
I should be on local time because otherwise I miss all the daylight. I have been in 3 days of fog, we have a warm front here in this low, and
Yeah.
I have this really foggy conditions. Now there's no fog, but it's raining. I'm under rain clouds, and I have basically not seen much daylight, or even been outside at all. Like few minutes here and there, just to clear a rope or something. Cole, you're in the opposite world where you can be on deck and you have some light, and I'm really in my cave. Um, and the windows are full of fog from the inside, condensation. It's raining
Yeah.
down from the windows, so I don't see the world outside of this little cave here. Um,
Yeah. You gotta get
yeah.
the chamois. I had those in the Southern Ocean where I was like chamoising all the time because it was just like raining into my bed and getting everything damp, and I was constantly like sponging out the bilge and just trying to keep everything dry and warm with the heated blanket, which I've heard that
Yeah.
you're using.
I'm using it. That's what I wanted to ask you. I have it underneath myself. I lie on top. Did you put it around you or on top of you, or how did you work with it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite small, and so the one that I had told you to purchase before you left is the same size, and so I just kind of like cocooned myself in it, and then I would wake up full sweat in the Southern Ocean because you don't realize how hot it is until all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, get me out of here, I'm gonna die. And then you walk outside for 30 seconds and it's, like 0 degrees, and you're like, oh, okay, never mind, back into bed.
That
Yeah.
was actually the best advice, this thing. It is a bit strange because you can't really feel the heat, on mine at least. When I put the hand on it, I don't feel the heat of it. But when I'm lying in it, then after a while, I feel that it's actually warming me.
Yeah, it's like
So
it radiates.
yeah, it's not that strong, mine. Maybe it's a bit broken, I don't know.
Maybe
Already.
it's not getting enough power or something to yeah, it might not be getting enough power through the outlet. Mine's like
Yeah.
plugged almost directly into the battery, so it's just mine gets really hot. Mine like almost catches on fire. It's dangerous.
Taking all the power of the boat. You're like, forget about everything else.
I watch the power. I have like all my systems like right here that say temperature and humidity and everything, and then I'll just like I can poke it with my foot because it's a touch screen, and I like lay back and I can poke it and be like, oh, I gotta unplug this thing because it's burning like 5 amps. It's terrible.
Really? Yeah, my heat blanket is not like that, but it's very smart that you can switch things on with your feet, because
Yeah.
these little things make a big difference in the Southern Ocean, in the cold, in the
When
middle of
you
the
don't
night.
have to move and you can just like strap yourself in and then like be all tight and then you just poke things with your toes on the screen. It seems ridiculous, but it's actually really really nice.
And the Ugg boots as well, Boris. You've been taking Cole's advice on those or not?
They are here. I'm between the Crocs and these. When I go on deck, I'm having the Crocs or boots. Try not to get the Ugg boots too wet. Um,
Yeah.
but now with these unstable conditions, when I work quite a lot, I'm warm anyway. Um, the last couple of days were actually really, really nice sailing so far in the Indian Ocean. We were moving fast east, averaging quite often 20 knots, and I didn't have to work too much. It was a lot of J2 sailing with one reef or full main, and I could make in the
Oh, lost him there for a second.
Yeah, he will be back.
Yeah, it is so nice when you can just put up the main and just be 2 reefs, jib, and then just set it, forget it. It's actually really, really nice.
We heard up to, yeah, you set the sails and could go. You hear us again?
I don't know how far you could hear me, but I said in these nice conditions I had the Ugg boots a bit more, but at the moment it's a bit more sporty.
Yeah.
It is for 3 sail changes now. I did 3 times back and forth, And each time I put the bigger sail, the wind drops. Sorry, the wind goes up. And when I put the smaller sail, then again, the wind drops straight away. It was very systematic. I don't know how that's possible.
Always the way. Always how it works, isn't it?
I have never seen it so bad like today. I couldn't really quite decide what sail to put for during the call. I went for the bigger one, and we're a little bit on the edge now, but we're actually fine.
Yeah, that happened to me last night.
What happened to you last night?
I had like the same thing. I tried to sleep through, like I had a full main up and it was gusting like 28, 30. And I was like, oh, I don't want to get up. Like, I really don't want to put this reef in at all. And then, and then Elizabeth, my bunkmate, was like staring at me like, you have to get up. And so I had to get up in the middle of the night and get splashed by waves. And I've been spoiled on this trip, so I haven't really gotten wet.
And how is it, Boris? I think you might be frozen again, but...
Is he frozen? Still with us?
He's frozen. Almost.
He is literally on the other side of the planet right now, so it's a little bit understandable. I think we can excuse him a bit.
We think we have Starlink on. I think for you, Cole, it worked almost everywhere, right? But not Point Nemo. Was that the?
Yeah, pretty much everywhere.
Oh, there we go. Are you back, Boris?
Back.
Yeah,
nice.
I'm back.
Hey, Boris, do you miss having us on board, like in the ocean race, or are you happy to have the boat back to yourself for this one?
No, I miss you a lot. I miss you a lot. I was thinking a lot about it. Sailing with people, I always enjoy a lot, and I also feel like even now that I'm sailing with people, the ones on the phone, with these amazing connections. I don't know why it interrupts a bit here, but usually it's pretty good, and it really feels like some people can accompany me quite close, and that's not so alone like last time where I barely did phone calls.
Yeah.
And I just had a weird event last night. I was sailing with the Code Zero, and in the bunk I felt that the boat wouldn't really move out of its way and felt really slow. The hours before I had a few problems with kelp around the foils, because I was still on the shelf of the Kerguelen place, Kerguelen Islands. So I had stopped already once and backed up, or with a boat hook tried to get the kelp off. Each time a little bit of a mission. And then at night I had stronger winds and the boat would just not go, and it feels those funny vibrations. You know that feeling well, and you can't really quite tell what is going on there. I stop the boat, look with a torch all around the outside. Unfortunately, at night I can't see the keel, and then I furled all the sails and then went upwind, hand steering, fully dressed, to back up the boat to eventually have, if I had something around the keel, to clear it off. Coming back on course, I didn't do any mistake, didn't lose the boat or capsize it over. That can happen in this situation. There was 20 knots of wind, it was blowing a bit. And going again, and similar feeling, and I just found out that it was a weird sea state. I had like a swell from the front. And so the boat sometimes digging in the swell from the front feels really, and also we have with these temperatures here and the gradient of the wind, I'm reading more wind at the top of the mast, and I'm very often only going at 80% of the polar. So that as well makes you think you have maybe something around the keel. And yeah, so a bit strange conditions at the moment. This is still the case. I'm only going 85-90% at the moment. My negative record was 65% polar percentage for a while. It's just in very thick fog. So waves a bit from everywhere, strange conditions here.
Yeah, definitely. Have you seen any of your friends yet that you're hanging around? Your pack of Charlie's Angels?
No, they are hiding. I can't see them. Justine, I can only get on the AAS when she's like 3 miles, 3.5 miles.
Wow, that's
Her
close.
emission is not her emission is not very strong. Um, Clarice, I can see 15 miles, um,
Oh, wow.
but she's further away than that, so I can't see her at the moment. And Sam neither. But it's nice to be in this group.
Yeah, it's super nice. It's nice to follow as well, the pack of you. You guys WhatsApp each other a bit? Are you chatting a little bit on WhatsApp?
Yes, we do, like 1 or 2 messages a day, so really not that much. If it was me, we would do a bit more, but also I don't want to annoy them with too much inquiry.
Who's the most chatty? Who's the most, apart from you, who's the most chatty?
Out of this group, I would say maybe Sam, but now Justine speaking more to me than at the beginning of the race.
She got used to it.
And Clarice is really happy to be on her own. She even told me, I don't like to see you on the AAS. I don't want to see any boats. I want to be alone. Because if she has a boat on AAS, it stresses her that she can measure every loss at every second. And she just wants to be in her own little rhythm. And for me, it's the opposite. It reassures me to see that weird conditions, waves from the front, 80% polar percentage, but the other one isn't any better. So, okay, everything should be fine. I can go back to bed. So I like to have other people around.
Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting how different skippers find like different ways of sailing in the Southern Ocean and stuff like.
I'm way more like Clarice. I don't want to see anyone around me. I don't want to know. It just gets under your skin. It's just, whoa, whoa.
I would be like Boris, for sure. I would be like, okay, where are my friends? Definitely. Definitely. And did you and Sam agree to make pancakes, or that was a coincidence?
Yes. How was it starting? I said, this is now, we should celebrate Sunday. Maybe I do pancakes, I wrote, and then an hour later she sent me a picture of pancake. So she was very quick. It took me then many hours, and only in the afternoon I managed to make my first pancake, which was more like a little mush. And after like the pancake, it was really a nice round little disc.
Yeah,
it works really well.
I was going to say the last pancake you made is better than I've ever made at home, Boris. Like,
yeah.
You should start your own cooking show now.
You should start your own cooking show.
Oh, so nice. Yeah, it looks good, and I guess it tasted good as well. We also had pancakes here.
Another highlight of the week for me was the passing of the Crozet Island and speaking to these people there. That was very particular because they spent 16 months, some of them, on the island, and so they told me that for their whole watch or shift, they haven't spoken to anyone on VHF yet. So that another boat or human speaks to them on the radio is super rare. So they all came together around the radio, and it was a big event. And then they handed over the thing, and everyone wanted to ask questions, and we spoke 40 minutes. So it was really, and then so on WhatsApp later they sent me pictures. They wrote messages on their whiteboard, and they did a group picture with 20 people. And
so cool.
they have radios on the island, so some people were speaking from their observation hut in the north of the island. Someone from the military base, somewhere a little bit away, and asking other questions. So they were kind of relaying one after the other with different questions. It was quite nice.
Cool. I feel like you could do a TV show about that island, probably. Like, it's crazy, huh, to be so far away.
And they said, please promote this conversation because people even in France don't know the Crozet Islands. So they think people think they are the Kerguelen, they are quite known, but no one knows Crozet, apparently, they said. So they wish that it becomes more known that there is Crozet. There are 30 to 60 people year-round on the island working there, but they are very little known.
Probably.
Oh,
Yes, okay.
well,
We
you've
need
given
we need to promote them. Yeah.
exactly. You've given them a voice today.
That's so cool.
They should do a pin on your map, Boris. Maybe they did it already. I didn't check today, but they should pin Crozet Island on the map, on the following map.
Yeah, we
We tell them. And do you have any like decisions coming up? I know like sometimes you have these kind of big decisions. You have to go more north, more south, and it can be a big change depending on what decision you make. Have you got anything like that coming up?
not at the moment, luckily. So for the next 36 hours, I go east to this north bump of the ice gate. That's kind of a natural waypoint, which is now 600 miles away. So that should be 1.5 days. Um, Until there, it's just wind from the left, port side tack, and the question more for me short term is which sail to use. If I put a certain sail to the sail that I don't use, do I put it down or do I leave it up furled? Um, these kinds of things. Because it takes a bit of time to put a sail in the back, but then if the wind is a bit unstable and you need it again, then you're happy to have left it out there.
Yeah.
When you leave a sail outside, you need to monitor and be sure that it's all well furled and doesn't unfurl in the middle of the night. That it does when it flocks around like this, moves around, it can damage a little bit the loops in the top and in the bottom, or if it's too long. So I wouldn't leave a sail up just there unused for more than 20 hours or 12 hours or something. If I guess.
Yeah.
And we saw Clarice did that in the beginning of the race with her big masthead Janneker, and then it unfurled at night. She lost the sail. So it can have really bad consequences if you do it wrong. And we expect quite a bit more wind in the next 6 to 12 hours. So that's a little bit something I'm still juggling in my mind. How do I set up the gear on deck without losing too much time? And it probably is soon daytime anyway again, and then I appreciate during the day actually to have my little chance to go on deck and do something, at least have 20 minutes of being outside, or 15 minutes.
Get some vitamin D
Yeah,
or whatever sun is in the Southern Ocean.
yeah, not so much, I guess.
I always remember Antoine, the onboard reporter in the ocean race, was desperate for sunlight in the Southern Ocean. So I'm sure it's a bit like that. But are you looking forward to going past the next cape? Have you got a bit of rum lined up for it?
Yeah, we have the very good rum from Christoph Enge. I haven't put rum in the water at the Cape of Good Hope, but next Cape I should honor a bit more and thank the Indian Ocean. I mean, the Cape doesn't finish the Indian Ocean, but I'm so far it has treated me really well. I knock on wood. Really good Indian Ocean. No stress, no dramas, not big winds, and really good progress here. No, Cap Lewin is not that far away. We are passing that. It's actually roughly 1,300 miles, and so from there, in the ocean race, we had 18 days, Cape Lewin to Cape Horn, I think.
Yeah.
So my big battle
That's
is to
fast.
be 1st of January at Cape Horn, and that would just pan out if I'm now doing 3 days to Cape Lewin, and then 18 days. So I have, I think, to the 1st of January, I have 22 days left or something like that.
Nice.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, we were reminiscing that
No,
you
it's
were
the 9th. Yeah, 21 days.
21 days, yeah. You were chasing down 11th hour, I think, at this point, right? In the ocean race?
Yeah, it was very close, pushing to that line at Cape Lewin.
The gate, scoring gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had already caught up quite a few miles in the. We had a totally different Indian Ocean. We were sailing with a small Janneker, full blast all the time, I think, no?
Yeah, I think so.
And
Yeah, full speed always.
and here it has been a gentle cruising trip, gentle cruise with J2, 80-degree sailing, 90-degree sailing to the wind through an angle. So that means all this excitement about a Southern Ocean boat, which is round and has rocker and goes well downwind. In the Indian Ocean, it hasn't served at all because we're just reaching. I mean, not tonight. It will start being a bit rougher downwind, but
Yeah.
Do you
yeah.
think
That's
that's
awesome.
do you think that's one of the reasons that we've seen like not many boats get damaged? I mean, like so far only 2 boats have had to retire, and if we compare that to this time in 2020, it was 6 boats or 7 boats even were already out at this point. So it's quite a big difference, huh?
Yeah, we had these catastrophic failures in the last Vendée Globe. We had 2 big collisions in Cape Town with taking Sam out and Sep Simon. We had a mast break broken on Corum early on in the race. Charal damage, totally hook problems on Occitan very early. So 3 or 4 boats suffered from damage in the second night or third or fourth night when we had that big cold front already. And then yeah, we lost Alex Thompson just in the southern with his rudder breaking off. That was crazy. They were just boats were every 2 days we had like someone dropping out, and now nothing is happening. So knock on wood, it's really a solid fleet now. I think just the level of preparation is so much better. More experience. The teams get bigger, have sailed more with the boats,
Yeah.
more miles, and in the boats, the step in the boat is less extreme from that generation to this. Last time we were still seeing for the first time these boats with the large foils and very very big foils. There was even no foil limit then, so the foils were even huge on the Sep Simon boat, for example. And now everything is a bit more in check and under control with class rules being a bit tighter. And then the weather has been gentle generally. I mean, some people have experienced some strong winds now in the front, but at least for most of the fleet, the conditions were quite gentle.
Yeah, definitely. And for you, like, how do you feel compared to last time?
I feel quite good, better, less stressed about the race. Also because the race has been defined early on with this low pressure in the South Atlantic in this way that um, the gap is bigger. Um, there are more boats in front than last time at the same stage, um, and I'm having a little bit more peaceful mindset. I'm not so at the edge. Last time I was a bit on the edge all the time, like feeling lonely, stressed, worried, whatever. It was just a lot in general, and this time I'm just taking it a little bit more easy. I mean, not sport-wise, but mentally, um,
Yeah,
not
calmer.
not taking
Yeah.
it too much to the heart if things break. I had already my little breakages as well, but
We had lots of
yeah.
questions about that actually in the chat, Boris. We have lots and lots of people online, and they're asking about the foil that you had to repair the rake on. Maybe you want to how it's going. Is the repair holding okay? Like, what's the situation there now?
Yeah, I almost forgot about it, which is nice because I'm having the wind from the left. Once we jibe or tack and have the wind from the right, then I will sail on that port side foil, which is the one which is damaged. The foil is not damaged itself, but I cannot adjust its angle to the boat anymore. The rake. Um, so the foil, there's a hydraulic ram that is attached with a screw in the front of the foil to pull and push on it, and that bolt and attachment broke, and that is just hard to improvise or to replace with something. There we don't have any option, so we can just squeeze the foil in one fixed rake position with some kind of plates that we put behind it. And so I guess before I get to jibe in 1.5 days, I will decide the rake that I want and fiddle a little bit around trying to get that rake. At the moment, it's quite high at 4.8. I guess I will adjust it maybe at a little lesser rake to have a bit more an all-round setup. But that will probably cost me 5 to 10% performance on when I have the wind from the right side, which is a shame. But it's great that we have this spare system, which we made on purpose, and which helps me to block it. And if I didn't use that, I would, probably maybe even abandon the race.
Yeah, it's very, so how, when you say you can like fiddle around with it, you actually have to move like a wedge, right? And really move the foil yourself into place. Is that correct? Or how does
Exactly.
it work?
So normally the hydraulic thing pulls the top of the foil forward to take rake off, and that I can't do anymore. So I rig up a sheet through all the boat with some improvised pulleys and then pull on the foil to move it forward. That only works when it's not touching the water.
Yeah.
And
MacGyver.
then I put something behind the foil, and then I let it sink back again. And so I just need to define the right distance behind, and that will probably take a little learning and a little while to find where I have the happy all-round spot. Um, and now I'm constantly changing the foil rake on the side where it's working. When the breeze goes up a bit, the wind angle a bit.
Oh,
Lost them there for a second.
it's been very good for a very long time. So.
These wedges actually, I saw Coco, one of our team members, making them like while I was visiting at the Vendée.
Yeah. So you saw it being made, and
yeah, they're just these Delron like wedges, and yeah, I was like, what are those? And then he was actually making them, and he was like, oh, this is if the foil rake breaks, and I didn't think anything of it, and then heard what had happened, and I was like, oh, Coco, come to the rescue.
Yeah.
And for you, Boris, you said like this race you've been feeling a bit less lonely and a bit easier, but also I think like you now you can see a lot more, right? Like the comments and stuff from the public, you can see like this map we made partway through, like that sort of stuff I guess helps as well on the journey, right?
Yeah, that's so nice to see lots of lovely comments and feedback messages, and I'm always surprised and really it's heartwarming to see how people take their time to really write a thoughtful note, and not just a thumbs up or a like, but really write a paragraph. And sometimes I take something away from it, what they mention, what people say. So thanks to everyone following and commenting. That's helpful and very motivating, and makes
Makes you happy.
makes us happy here.
And we've sorry, go on.
My mother has been following you, Boris, and she followed me all the way around the planet. She doesn't know anything about sailing, but she thinks she'll hate me if I say this, but she thinks you're very cute with your beard. She thinks you're very cute. And she loves to tell me. She we'll get on the phone and she's like, have you seen Boris today? And I'm like, I'm talking to him, yes.
So nice.
Yeah, so you have all the moms are in love with you right now.
That's nice. That's nice. Say hi to her.
Yeah,
I will. She'll love that.
I think I'm not sure I can promise the beard for too long, but
pretty big, yeah. I thought you were keeping it for Christmas, maybe.
Latest in the next light wind section, I will take the opportunity. I didn't want to shave inside to not put hair everywhere, but
Good
I
point.
will
Yeah.
wait for the light wind and do it outside.
And we have we're coming to the end of our show, but we have one of your also things from your Rosie podcast, Boris, the promo section that you liked so much. So we have a question for each of you three. What has been the best present you've ever received at sea? I can start with Will.
With me, okay, straight on the spot. Okay.
Yeah.
My favorite thing was in the leg 3 of the Southern Ocean last year. Lucia, my wife, packed in each of the food bags like these postcards of like photos with like a daily message on the back.
Oh.
And it was like my little, I would have my bar of chocolate and this little postcard, and I would save it for the evening and get to read the message of what it was about. And it was normally like of something we'd done before or like an adventure we'd done, and so that
Who
was
knew? She was so sweet, huh?
so nice. I know, and I
That's so nice.
the thing I liked was I had no idea because it was packed in the food bag, so I didn't even see it go in my bag or anything. It was only when I was sailing, and I would get one every 2 or 3 days. So that was a pretty good one.
Cute. That's cute. And how about you, Boris?
Yeah, my best present was these glasses, so I can actually see better, and especially at night.
Oh, wow. Wow, who needs head torches anymore? Look at these.
That's amazing.
So good.
Coco made them for me, or had them. That's Coco's present.
Yeah.
So nice. They are epic. Night vision.
Coco.
You can start the nightclub on board now. You just
Yeah,
get the strobes going, and then that. Perfect.
I think actually, Boris, there are some more presents on board which may allow even more of a party vibe. To
Oh,
happen.
great! Yeah. I'm finding these presents very slowly, little by little, and it's really nice surprises each time.
Super nice. And how about you,
so
Cole?
I think mine was actually a palm tree, and so I had this little blow up palm tree that someone had given to me when I was to only open when I actually got to Cape Lewin. So then I was deep in the Southern Ocean, and I probably hadn't seen the sun in a while. But he was living in New Zealand, and he was like, "It's summertime here, so let's experience summer." So I blew up this stupid little palm tree, and it sat in the corner and reminded me that there is summer somewhere.
There is
not
some light somewhere.
Yeah, this isn't. It's not all bad.
I love
It's not always grey.
Yeah, it's not always gray. I'm gonna see the sun one day.
So nice. And is your plant present still alive, Boris?
Yeah, the plant is struggling, but it's still alive. It's fighting. It's a tough one because with the motion, the little grains of earth are jumping out, and it's getting less and less. It's messing a little bit with the cockpit floor, and it's losing some of its little branches are falling off.
Oh no.
So it really has a rough life, but I think it will make it at least a month more, and then we see if it makes it to the finish. I'm not sure. It's a big,
Oh.
it's a rough test. Yeah.
Hanging in there.
Yeah,
Oh.
very sad.
Oh.
So we also
No,
have...
but
Oh, sorry. Go for it, Boris.
no, just in case we finish, I just wanted to not miss to say, Cole, how I'm pleased to see you at sea, and it's so cool to have this amazing connection and being able to
I
talk.
know.
And I really like following your journey, and I find it very courageous to do such a long trip. And I wish you
It's a little
really
crazy.
good spirits and good winds, and all the best for this trip. And I sometimes look in if I can see any news from your boat, because I'm really curious to see how you guys are going.
I think it's a little different than what you're doing, because this is like a training delivery. It's calm. I've got to pick my weather window, so I've had downwind for 8 days. It's been lovely, and so it's a little different. We can reef whenever we want. It's great. It's great. Just take the sails down, turn the engine on. It's a very different. I've had to wrap my head around it a little bit and get the racing mode to kind of subside. So yeah, it's been great. And I love your little text messages, just like, what's going on your side? And I'm like, well, it's sunny. It's a little different.
And your tracker, Cole, actually, we've put it in the description of this YouTube. So if anyone wants to also track Cole, the tracker is up and running, right?
Yeah, when Boris finishes, I will be finishing also, but I will be finishing halfway. So a little different, a lot slower.
Nice. At a similar time, actually, you'll be arriving in Australia.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's
hopefully.
Very nice. We're about to do our prize section, Boris. So if you have any other, I think you've frozen again. Maybe you're frozen. Maybe we do our prize section and then he can say something she wants. So we have the prize section. Last week's winner was Zoe Paula Strasfield. Please email us, Zoe, so we can give you your present. We have prize again, same thing, terms and conditions are in the description. First person to put the right answer in this chat wins. And the question is, what is the name of the male bear that Boris has on board and which also did the last Vendée Globe? What is the name of the male bear that Boris has on board and which did the last Vendée Globe? Answer in the live chat here, guys. I think Boris is gone, so he said his final goodbye, and we are finished too. So for those who want to add a pin to the map that Boris mentioned, it is also in the description. You can also track Cole, and we will be back next week at the same time, 6 p.m. CET. Please join us there. In the meantime, please follow, like, and subscribe to the channel. All the videos from Boris are coming to the YouTube and also to Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want to follow. We have Boris before we go. Hi. We are just about to say farewell, Boris. Anything you want to add on the farewell, please do.
No, thank you, Holly, for having me at your show. I'm also watching the show when I'm not there. The last weeks and next Monday, of course, and really enjoying it. So keep it up and thank you for your great work.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Boris. It's super fun to follow you, and good luck for all the sail changes coming up in the next few days.
Yeah.
We're with you.
Kick ass, Boris.
Yeah. Ciao,
Cheers,
ciao.
Boris.
Thanks,
Good luck.
everyone. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Ciao.